burdensome to all of the locals that don't want it.
Mhm.
And going to every meeting as I have for both towns and reading thousands of pages is overly burdensome. I have a family and this is crazy. And I'm having to scrape to try to find a way to protect my family. This is overly burdensome. I have read so many studies, watched so many YouTube videos, read so many articles that I am full up to my ears with information. And as far as peer review, that is not a respectful thing anymore. It's so diluted. There's no integrity in industry anymore, in manufacturing and companies. This isn't anything to be listened to as the gospel anymore. It's infiltrated. People aren't living ethically. So we can't depend on other people and peer review studies for people who have lots of money. When the people that are losing have no money, the people in Chattagay that are saying that these things are happening, they're not saying it for money, they're saying it because they've lost everything. And I have read so many towns where this is happening, and those voices are not being heard, and everybody keeps talking about peer reviewed, but if you listen to Nina Pierpont's, everything around the world that she has studied, it makes sense. It's real. I mean, this is going beyond. Just keep doing what you're doing. Try to be as restrictive as possible, and we will help you fight this. We are going to fight it for our children. And if it means that we lose and we have to go to court, we'll have to find a way because it's for the children. We have to do the best for our children. This is not the best. And if they can't be in because of the 45 dBA, so be it. Because really, even 35 dBA is too high. That is beyond a concession. It's disgusting. I mean, it makes me sick. It makes spit come up in my mouth. My dBA at my house is between 15 and probably 25, if that, at night. Why would 35 not be noticeable? And in infrasound, you would feel it. And the other thing is they're not measuring inside of our houses, as it's stated. So we're not going to have a before ambient reading. We're not going to have a before reading in our house of the dBA. We have no protection. In law, if we go in there with no prior readings, we have no protection against post readings. That's the way that it is. And we have no protection other than this wind law and what we do with it. We have to be as strict as possible and not fall for this nonsense. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Evening, board members. My name is Chris Olson. I am a health consultant to Avon Grid, and I had the pleasure of speaking with your planning board last night. Just two things I'd like to point out, and I know that they're going to be controversial, but if I look at the letter that the board received from the county planners, there's two areas that I'd like to point out to you. The first is on page 4 of that letter, when they're referring to the noise standards and the current proposed number of 35 decibels at night. And the county planners have stated that the Public Services Commission Siting Review Board may determine the strict noise standard to be an unreasonable regulation. Similarly, if you follow to the next page, on the setback issue, as they go through and they describe, and then they go on to state that these setbacks nearly eliminate all locations from overlay districts from commercial wind development and could be determined as unreasonable by the Public Service Commission Review Board. So just a couple of thoughts and notes, as I said last night to the planning board. If we do look at the international science, if we do look at standards that are used around the world, if we look at the World Health Organization numbers, 45 decibels at nighttime, and a setback that would be give or take 1,800 feet to 2,000, 1,800 to 2,000 feet from a home itself is a reasonable standard. It does ensure the protection of health, both from a sound standpoint, from infrasound, from low frequency noise, from things like ice throw, blade failure, and the like. I'm involved in a number of other projects around the state of New York right now that are also undergoing Article 10. On all of those projects, to the best of my knowledge, people are designing to a 45 decibel at a residence, non-participating residence, as the standard that they intend to put forward to the state under Article 10, while trying to respect the local laws and ordinances. And the state, frankly, is still wrestling with what that number should be. But it appears that they're landing on the 45 decibels. So I guess I would urge the board to maybe consider, when you're putting your final regulation in place, that 45 decibels in a setback of 2,000 feet, or give or take the 4 times tree line height, would be sufficient to protect the health of your residents and the neighboring properties.
It's 35 at night.
Kelly, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Avon Grid
is just displaying your contempt for our town. I mean, we have, you know, you put forth things that you want, and they continue to keep telling you different, you know, and disregard, and like, you know, they're going south to 72 right now and doing all of their testing, and they're also, you know, he made comment that, you know, the setbacks, you know, it didn't matter how long it took, then why, if you go to the public comment site, then why are all the pro-wind people commenting, keep the old wind law, 1,800 feet setbacks and 45 decibel? It's like they've been given that to say, each one of them says that. So that just didn't jive right there. I mean, he's saying one thing, but what they're really doing is completely different. So again, I'm just asking the board to please look what your town wants, not this company, because we're what matters, we're living here. Thank you.
Gary, you had your hand up.
Just want to remind the town board that what you just heard from this gentleman was a paid advertisement.
Yeah.
I just think a lot is gonna be cleared up. Our group intends to have our own ambient sound testing done, and it won't be with, things next to a snowmobile trail or next to a timber, a mineral, mining operation or whatever. I mean, and the fact is, like we said last night, those things are not operating at night. They're not cutting trees in the woods at night, and they aren't getting, gravel loads 24/7. So that's just like not even up for discussion. But the thing is, once we get our own ambient levels, I think it'll be eye-opening how low it actually is here. And as Mr. Ambrose said, most rural areas, the ambient sound is about 27 dBA. So, and if you're increasing it, you're doubling it with every 10 dBA, that's a big variation in noise level. So I think that will be helpful to the board to see why 35 is so crucial at night. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe both lawyers told me that, one said definitely they would need it before they had the citing permit to have this law in. I believe the other one told me before the, application. So there is a bit of a rush here. And the second thing is, may I ask Mr. Olson a question?
You can ask the board.
Okay.
if you
Um,
have the board.
Yeah.
I believe that Iverdola, or one of the variety of names that Iverdola goes by, is either Lighthouse Wind Project or Horse Creek Project, correct?
Sorry, that would be best asked of Mr. McDonald.
If you want to have a conversation.
Horse-
with-
Because
with
Horse
these
Creek.
guys.
one of those projects is,
Horse
and you just heard that there's, other projects aren't going for 35. They are. So, and they're involved with one of those two, I believe it's Horse Creek.
It is, yeah.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I don't know if anybody read those proprietor future books that Conrad couldn't read because the writing's too small, but I just got a few of those today, and I opened up the book and I'm looking a little bit, and I seen in there that the state of Oregon thinks that the average nighttime ambient noise level is 27 dBA, and they said at no time should it exceed 10 dBA more than the ambient level. That's the state of Oregon. That was in their book.